Hi, welcome back everybody. In this particular video, we're going to take a look at the hybrids, and it's the Cobra SpeedZone, so the new hybrids for 2020. We've got the standard hybrid and then the one length hybrid. So I'm going to do a comparison video against each other. So obviously we've got a difference of that shaft length with the one length sort of concept in a way, in that 7-iron length, but in that hybrid. They're both 21 degrees, they're both 4 hybrids. So I'm really interested to sort of see, is there any difference of that distance we're hitting it? Way that ball flies, the peak of its height, the stopping power, etc. like that. Is there potentially much more control with that one length against the standard length? We're going to find out. We're going to test it. We've got GC quad on the floor as always. So we'll take a look at this particular video. Okay, so I have done a little review video and a comparison with the gap in with the new Cobra SpeedZone irons, the 5-iron against the 4 hybrid, and there seemed to be a decent amount of gap in there, so that seemed to work out pretty decently, even though they were actually the same lofts as well. So I put a little link up, you can go and obviously check that video out in a little bit more detail about the technology of the head and everything like that. But obviously standard length of the hybrid, 21 degree in the standard SpeedZone hybrids. Got those rails on the bottom, Arcos in the grip, a little bit of a bigger profile of that actual head. So let's get this first one hit. That's a good strike, really nice, high, easy to launch sort of ball flight there. So things I maybe want to sort of look at in this video when I compare this against the one length is obviously the ball speed. Obviously we'll look at club head speed, because with the difference of shaft length we should potentially see a slower club head speed with the one length than the standard length. So obviously we know that may give us a discrepancy of that ball speed, or a difference of that ball speed should I say, and obviously that carry distance. But also want to look at the peak of its height, maybe the descent angle, maybe spin numbers as well, and look at that sort of dispersion as well in terms of that tightness. Is that one length shorter shaft giving us that more control, which I think a lot of golfers would like to try and achieve. Okay, so got hold of that first one there, that flew right towards the back of the green. I've set myself out at 215 yards from the green. That flew to that back edge, really got a good strike with that one. Slightly pulley on that one, catch that left edge, just going to miss that green again. That's going to go a little bit longer through that slight pull. Again, it was a good strike, flighted very nicely. Just a little bit up that left hand side, try and straighten that off a little bit. Again, very confident, inspiring appearance behind the ball, quite a large footprint on this particular model, but lovely matte black finish with that little bit of yellow, looks stunning. Okay, that's a better strike. A little bit more on line. Yeah, just flying over that green, sorry, just over that flag. It looks to be stopping quite quick on that particular shot. Again, as I change my shot shape, if I get one drawing in a little bit, we know spin's going to drop off, lands, and then it's going to release potentially a little bit more. I think we always tend to look at a hybrid as an approach club into the green as well. You know, if we hit that long iron into the green, hybrid's the replacement, tends to promote a little bit of a higher ball flight, a little bit softer landing. So it's good to sort of look at that, a little bit of that stopping power. Oh, it's just going to leak a little bit there, a little bit heel strike. I'll probably just land up a bit short. Okay, so you can see how strike changes, shot shape changes that distance number. So when I get that little pulley one, it tends to go a little bit further, so that lands more sort of back left edge. That little heely one spins up, peels to the right a little bit, hits that front right edge. So there's a big difference of carry there. Obviously that's more through strike and spin numbers, which is obviously through me, myself, and my delivery. That's a nice strike, really nice, high towering ball flight. It's right over that flag. Yeah, really good strike, and obviously just going out a little bit further there through strike again, but really good high sort of flight. Okay, so a little bit of a pull one in there, bit of a short, weak one. Others were pretty well struck there. So let's jump into the one length and put that up against the standard one. Right, okay, so SpeedZone one length. So as we know, these are all the 7 iron length right the way through the set. I have got the irons. I'm going to do a separate video on the irons and maybe look at the gap in from the sort of 5 to the 7 to the 9 iron. Separate video for that. But obviously look at the hybrid 7 iron length, and it's I always have to laugh because obviously I'm 6'5". Putting a 7 iron, which is a standard 7 iron length, in my hands here, it feels a little bit short as it is. But then when I see a hybrid head on the end of this short 7 iron shaft, it just makes it look even shorter again. So it just feels like I've got a little kiddies club in my hand here. So it always makes me giggle a little bit. But I think, you know, for a lot of golfers, it's getting that ultimate sort of control, isn't it? Keeping that ball position the same, that sort of distance from the ball exactly the same, and, you know, relatively on that same sort of swing, sort of playing in a way. So trying to keep things very much the same. I get the theory around it. Again, I think it's personal whether you buy into the one length thing or you actually like it. Again, I think that's a bit more of a personal aspect. But technology-wise in the head, exactly the same. We just see a different colourway from Cobra, just with that blue and white. Matte black finish with a white instead of the yellow there. Obviously it goes in with the blue grips, which is sort of signifying that it's a one length. They put those on as standard. Still got the Arcos in there. Shaft's the same, but obviously that different length. Okay, let's get this first one hit. So I left myself exactly the same distance from the flag as that first batch. Okay, and that was a nice strike, just slightly up that right hand side. That flew a bit lower, landing on that front edge. Strike felt good, but definitely come out a little bit lower on its flight there. Let's see if that stays consistent through the batch of shots. Yeah, just leaked that a little bit up that right edge. That flew a little bit higher, to be fair. Just landing a touch short, but we know those slight right shots are just going to drop off. We saw that in the first batch with the standard length hybrid. When I got that pull, it went longer. That little Healy one came up short. They were all right strikes, to be fair. They weren't Healy, but just a little bit, maybe just face just staying open a tiny bit there. I mean, it does give you that confidence that you've got a really good control over this with the length of it. So I get the concept, and I get a lot of golfers, maybe sort of guys who struggle with that length of the golf club, maybe just want that consistency, trying to control strike. I get it, you know, I think this would help a little bit. It's just slightly low in the face, just peeling a little bit. Again, it's not going to make it to that green. Does feel like I'm swinging it slower. I think obviously with the length of it, and again we'll have a look at those numbers, because we know obviously that swing speed will dictate a bit of that ball speed. That was a better one. Again, just gone a little bit lower, just peeling a little bit. Yeah, so consistently landing short of that flag. I'm going to hit one more shot, and then we'll go and look at some numbers there. Very consistent on what it's doing through the flat. I'm just seeing that little cut actually, which is quite different with a hybrid for me, to be honest. Yeah, that was a little bit here. That started a bit left and cutting back. That was probably the poorest strike of the lot there, but ended up, ooh, nearly going in. Okay, so there's a few shots hit with that one length. Does feel very different. Obviously just the length of it just doesn't feel comfortable to me personally, but it could well do for a lot of you guys out there. Again, my message to you is always to go out and try these yourself. Don't buy it through what I say. I'm giving you a little bit of an insight into the head, the technology. It's sometimes my personal take on the actual club, but it doesn't substitute you going out. Your delivery will be different to mine. You've got to go and get that tested on yourself. So let's just go look at those numbers in a little bit more detail between the standard length hybrid and the one length hybrid. Okay, so we've got the standard hybrid on the top in yellow and the one length on the bottom. So we're going to look at club head speed first. So averaging at 101 exactly with the standard length, and then dropping down to 95.4. I felt that. So we're seeing, you know, a good 5.5 mile an hour less club head speed there, so we know that's going to make a difference of that ball speed and really that distance. I think we just saw that obviously on the where that balls were landing. So looking at ball speed 141.5 with the standard length, that 135.2. Obviously that's the difference that club head speed is making that equation there. Having said that, going back to club, we're seeing what 5.5 in ball speed, which is the same as club head speed. Probably shouldn't see that really. So efficiency wise, you see 1.40 with the hybrid standard length and 1.42 with the one length. So a little bit more efficient with the one length. So again, that probably just tells me I'm striking that a little bit more central, a little bit more consistent there. So that's keeping the ball speed up a little bit. Even though we've dropped the club head speed, the ball speed is going up a little bit in comparison, if that makes sense. Looking at launch angle 11.3 against 10.6, a fraction lower. Saw that a little bit, but there's not a lot in it there, to be honest. There's a spin numbers are very, very similar. So 4.331 with the standard length, 4.401 with the one length. So nothing really splitting that to worry about in all fairness. Shot shape, just a little bit more cuts with the, or a little bit fades with the one length, which you saw. A little bit more neutral, one fadey one pulley one. Mixed up a little bit more. So looking at average, the carry distance, see 216 against 203, but obviously with the difference of that club head speed, making a difference that ball speed, we are going to see a difference of that carry number. So there we go, there's the numbers. Descent angle or peak height, you can see much lower with the one length at 26 yards against 31. That's quite a difference, isn't it? So it was a lower sort of flight. It launched a little bit lower, just spun a little bit higher, but it didn't actually peak out as high, probably because of the lack of speed really to get it to its peak height. Okay guys, so there we go, there's standard length against one length. So obviously we're seeing very big difference of speed as we expected, and as I mentioned earlier in the video, purely because of the shaft length change there. So obviously that's going to affect ball speed, and that clearly affecting that carry number. Having said that, you know, are you going to be in a standard length or the variable length as you call it, irons moving in then into a one length hybrid? I probably wouldn't, because you're going to have some serious gapping issues there. Vice versa, are you in one length irons then jumping into a standard length hybrid? Again, you could do, but you would have to maybe choose your loft of your hybrid to make sure you fit that gapping. So i.e. you're probably going to have to make or purchase a higher lofted hybrid to then fit in than what you would do if you're going from normal length iron to normal length hybrid, if that makes sense. If you're with me and still following me. A little bit complicated, isn't it? Post comments down below. Do you think you would be a standard length or a one length? Have you got one length? Do you feel it benefit? Have you struggled with it? I'd love to hear your thoughts as always. It is a little bit different. It's weird being so short to me personally, but again, for a lot of guys, it might give you a real big boost to that confidence and control that ball strike. My efficiency was a little bit better there actually, so shows me my concentration of the strike was much better and much more consistent than standard length. Makes a little bit of sense. Post comments down below. If you enjoy the video and haven't subscribed, please hit that subscribe button, and while you're there, just ring that bell. Follow them up on social media platforms, both Instagram and Twitter, and the handles there are @NNGolfCoach, and hopefully we'll catch up with you all very soon.